the YZ plane if we want, but it's just the X direction equals -2 for our purposes. So hit save, Control S, and now hit play. Let's see what happens. Yay! Woohoo! Alright, that's pretty good right now. But Paul, in Incradiator, in a Flappy Bird game, there's more than one pipe. How do you make more pipes? Good question, me. So what we're gonna do is, we take the pipes up here and click and drag it into the project folder. And now we have this prefab, we call it here, Unity's prefab, which is just a copy of these pipes, except we can now click and drag from here onto the scene, and you can make copies of it right on the spot. That's pretty neat. So I don't really need these. Now I'm gonna create a folder called resources folder, and we're gonna figure that out later. Okay, so that's that. So now we want a script that will spawn multiple pipes. Pipe manager script. We'll attach it to the camera. I always use my camera as a manager for the game to manage like the game's dynamics and what has to be done at certain points. So I always use the camera because I don't want to make a new object for no reason. So last click, click here it is again. So now we don't need this. We need about, I don't know, 8 more pipes I think to fill up the screen. So let's make a variable called count. Let's see if we can do it. We're gonna make a variable called pipe, and we're gonna call that a type game object. And you'll see why. So I'm gonna set pipe equal to resources dot load pipes. Okay. So what this does is resources goes into the resource folder, which I created earlier, and you're loading the input pipes. It's searching for the word pipes in terms of name, and it's going to load it into the variable pipe. Pipe. And we're going to see that when we hit play. So here, pipe is nothing, but through code, we're going to load pipes right in there, and you're going to see right now. Boom, pipes, there it is. Now, alternatively, you can just take the prefab and click and drag it here, like so, and there it is. And you don't need that line of code, but me, I use the code. I just use it. I do everything through code. That's how I do stuff. Other people might just click and drag stuff, but I like to keep my Unity empty. I like to keep my editor as empty as possible and do as little as possible without code, but I'm just a code dude. So back to our script. So now we're gonna create an infinite loop, and we're gonna wait for 2 seconds. So yield, wait for seconds, 2, save, instantiate, it's bothering me, type, and that's it. So if we hit play, we're gonna get pipes generated every 2 seconds. There we are, pipes. But in Incradiator, aren't there pipes that spawn in different levels? They're just all the same. What good is that? Good point. So we'll go back to our pipe behavior script, and we'll determine a good random position for it to spawn. So I'm gonna move my pipes back here, and I'm gonna go to my main camera, and since it's a 2D game, the 3D projection kind of screws up. I don't want to see the bottom part of the top pipe. So I'm going to go to my camera, I'm going to go to perspective to orthographic, and now we have this box over here. Everything in this box, regardless of how far away it is, will now show up in the scene. Like if I move the pipes back, it's not going to go anywhere. Only thing affected is the light. As unlike with the perspective, if we move the pipes back and forth, it's going to shrink, as it should in real life. Sounds good to you? Sounds good to me. Alright, orthographic. Okay. And now I'm going to record some numbers. A lot of it is math, so I'm going to move the pipes up here. And I want the highest it can spawn is this negative 0.9 value. So negative 0.9 is the top, is the upper bound. The lower bound is going to be negative 8.6. So we go back into our code, and now we do transform dot position dot y equals random with the random class dot range with the range function. So I have two values, negative 8.6, and the last one, the middle one was to negative 0.9. Why are these numbers so messed up? Because when I created new empty game objects, I forgot to zero it. So now I get these random numbers. But doesn't matter, as long as you record the data, it's fine. So now I want to move my pipes back to the way it was. So I'm going to create a new pipes. This new pipes is the value where it was before, which is of more use to me than these pipes here, so I'm going to delete it. And I'm going to hit play. And now what we're going to get is randomly spawning pipes. The random function. It's not the greatest, but it works. So there we are. Kind of looking like a Flappy Bird game now, isn't it? Now I need to record how many pipes I actually need. And I think this is about it. So one, so let me go to here. Okay, so how many clones do I have up here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, so 11 pipes. Okay, so go back to our pipe manager. Increment this count using that operator, that function, if you will. If count is equal to, what was it, 11? Destroy this. Now destroy gets rid of what the input is. So this is referring to the script. This whole script is going to go away as soon as count reaches 11. Whenever you do something, you want to test it out. So here we go, main, this count increments here every time it produces a new pipe. 8, 9, 10, 11. Poof, it's gone. Just the way we want it. And that's all the pipes we need. Okay. Now, wait a second. This gap over here, it's too high. The user will never be able to tap the bird and go all the way up there. You're right. So we have to set a limitation on the spawns. It can only go a certain amount. So let's fix that. So we go pipe behavior. We create a static variable. And we'll call it y. We'll type float. Float just means it has a decimal point in it, more precise than integer. Allocates more memory, of course. Or maybe not, I don't know. Anyway, So you do if alright, so we do this first. So leave that up here. If transform gotta be careful. We want the lowercase transform. Minus y is greater than 7. Let's do 7. Alright, so we take the absolute value. I'll explain this later. Take the absolute value of the current value of the y and subtract it by this big Y. Now this big Y is going to be the value that was stored in the previous pipe. So all the pipes will have the same number large Y. And this line of code only runs once. Allocating a new Y, it only runs once. It's ignored when a new pipe is created. Yeah. Okay. If the distance of the new Y minus the old Y is greater than a certain number, then we have to change it to just that number. Either plus or minus the Y. I mean the 7, because the max is 7. So if the gap is larger than 7, then we gotta make it 7. Make it 7 units apart from the last pipe. That's what that means. Okay, so let's do it. So how do we do this? So transform position dot y, grabbing the y value of the position, which is over here. Equals minus No, this is wrong. One sec. What am I doing in the code? Okay. So, what did I do wrong? Nothing. So, if the gap is larger than 7, okay. The gap is larger than 7, that's fine. If the large, if y y is greater than the old y, then you do transform position dot y equals large Y plus 7. Alright? Else, because we gotta know which direction the gap is larger. So that's what that's doing. If the gap is larger than 7, then increment to this pipe